Back in July, I went to NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida to watch a SpaceX launch. I got to go as part of NASA Social, which is a program by NASA to bring people who are active on social media to events like launches to share their experiences in their social media feed, which is what I did. And if you follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, you've probably seen some photos and videos that I posted from my trip. But in a nutshell, it was an emotional roller coaster, mostly because of the weather. When I got to Florida, the weather was terrible because there was a tropical depression forming off the coast, just threatening this launch from the beginning. I'm in Florida, I'm in Cape Canaveral. I've been here for a few days now and the weather has been dicey. So the launch has been rescheduled for the 24th and I leave on the 25th. So if it doesn't happen on Wednesday, that's it for me. I will have missed the launch.
First day of NASA Social. I'm all checked in. I'm about to get on this bus. And here's all the other people in my group. We're so excited.
The first day of the NASA Social event was a tour of Kennedy Space Center, and we get to see areas that are usually restricted and not open to the general public. We even got to see the launch pads up close, including Launch Pad 40, which is the launch pad that SpaceX was launching from the next day. So when we got there, the rocket was on its side on the launch pad, and we saw SpaceX employees bustling around, getting the rocket ready for launch.
I'm at Launch Pad 40, and you can see behind me on its side is the Falcon 9 rocket that they're gonna launch tomorrow. I just can't believe I'm standing here.
We also got to see Launch Pad 39B, which was the launch pad for a lot of shuttle missions, and then we got to see Launch Pad 39A, which was the launch pad for a lot of Saturn V missions, including Apollo 11. And it was extra special because this was just a couple of days after the Apollo moon landing anniversary. And I just couldn't believe I was so close to the actual launch pad that Apollo 11 launched from 50 years ago. After we saw the launch pads, they took us to see the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building. And this building is famously known as the largest one-story building in the world. The American flag on the side of it is the biggest American flag in the world. I think the stars are like 6 feet across each.
We're touring the VAB right now, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. There are things in here that are still here from the Saturn V program, and there's a mock-up of the Orion, and we're walking into a high bay now. This is crazy.
I was expecting it to be like a hangar inside. I was kind of expecting like a giant empty space, but it wasn't really like that at all. The first thing you notice when you walk inside the VAB is scaffolding everywhere and platforms basically built up around the shape of a rocket. And these are platforms and infrastructure that's in place to allow them to work on rockets there. So it's almost like the building is a skeleton built around the shape of a rocket, and they can roll a rocket in, tilt it upright, work on it in place, and then roll it out on the crawler, which is another gigantic piece of machinery that we got to see. It just gave me goosebumps to stand inside the VAB. I mean, just to look around and see the evidence and marks of all of this incredibly historic work, it was just mind-blowing. Basically, I didn't want to leave, but eventually they kicked us out of the VAB and we got to see some other cool stuff.
So behind me you can see the pathway that the crawler takes to take a vehicle to the launch pad. And if you look closely, you can see it's actually river rock. It's about golf ball sized pieces of river rock. And apparently it's river rock and granite rock till about 8 feet down. And now they're telling us we have to get on the bus because we have a lightning warning. All right, bye.
After that amazing tour, I was so excited to see the rocket launch the next day, but when I woke up in the morning, the weather was not good.
I just drove here from Cocoa Beach about 20 minutes ago, and I drove through the most insane thunder and lightning storm I've ever had to drive through. So we're here at the viewing site for our NASA social group, and I want to point out to you what we can see from here because it's pretty cool. So all the way on the right there is the VAB, that's the Vehicle Assembly Building that we got to walk in yesterday. Directly behind us is Launch Pad 40 with the SpaceX rocket on it. It's loaded, it's upright, apparently it has been fueled, and it's ready to go in 30 minutes. Further to the right is Landing Zone 1. From here it looks like a tiny skinny tower, and that is where the booster is going to land about 8 minutes or so after the rocket is launched. We're about 4 minutes out from launch and the weather does not look good. There's some raindrops coming down now, and currently we are no go, but SpaceX is going to take this to the very limit. They've decided they're going to count down until T-minus 30 seconds and make the call then. So it's not looking good, but we are crossing our fingers.
That launch was scrubbed at 30 seconds.
So the launch was just scrubbed, and we're gonna head out, and I'm really bummed. I hope I still get to see a launch one day. I'm gonna try again. So thanks for coming on this journey.
So then as I was leaving the viewing site, I had this huge decision to make. SpaceX scheduled another launch attempt for the next day, but I was scheduled to fly out the next day, like most of the people in my group. And I had to decide whether I was going to change all my travel plans and pay some extra money and stay another day to see if the rocket would launch. The weather forecast for the next day was exactly the same. It was 30% go for launch, which is 70% chance no launch. So I kind of had to take a leap of faith.
Guess what? I'm still in Florida. So after the rocket launch was scrubbed yesterday, I was so bummed, but I rallied and I rearranged all my travel plans. I'm staying for one more day. So I get to go back with NASA Social and see if this rocket launches today. And I'll be honest with you, the weather today is exactly the same as it was yesterday. In fact, it's been raining all morning. All right, we're back for day 2, attempt number 2 at this launch. And the weather seems a bit calmer today. I think the forecast was upgraded to a 50% go for launch. So hopefully we're gonna have a rocket launch from right between these two buildings here. We're about 10 minutes out from launch and it looks pretty good right here, but they are telling us there is a weather concern. There's some large gray clouds over by the VAB, but hopefully they'll stay over by the VAB and we'll see this rocket launch. Oh my god!
We were watching from the NASA Causeway, which is less than 3 miles away from the launch pad, but even at that distance, it looks like the rocket is lifting up in slow motion. And then this beam just radiates out from the bottom of it, and the exhaust from the rocket is so bright. I had this moment where I asked myself if it was safe to look at this bright light because it reminded me of like a welding arc. And then the sound just hits you.
Here comes the noise.
Here it comes.
And and then it changes over time. It starts to rumble and crackle, and it sounds like it's coming from all around you. It's a SpaceX launch. It's a Falcon 9. So the booster is coming back down, and we knew we had about 8 minutes before it came back. So we're looking up at the sky. We're like, where is it? Where is it?
Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is. Booster's back. Yes.
NDA landing burns started. They heard the call out. Watch those landing burns deployed. Coming up shortly.
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, wow.
And I was so distracted by watching the booster landing upright that even though I knew that sonic booms were coming, they caught me completely by surprise.
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, wow.
That was something I'll never forget, and I'm just so grateful that I got to see it. And I'm so glad that I stuck it out and I booked that extra day. I almost didn't do it, and it was amazing to see that in person. It was a bucket list item. And now that I've done it, I am adding it right back to my bucket list because I really want to go back and see it again. And if you ever have the chance to view a launch in person, I highly recommend it. In fact, if you want to apply for the NASA Social Program, I'll put a link in the description of this video to where you can apply. It is a totally amazing experience, and I'm so glad I got to meet all the people in my group. They all came from different walks of life, they had different reasons for being interested in space exploration, and I learned a lot from them. So that's all I've got for this video. I'll be back next time making something. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. They let us keep our badges, and they gave us astronaut ice cream. Space food. Space food. It can't make you fat because it's developed for weightlessness. Powdery. Ooh, look at that. Oh. It's like an ice cream cracker. It's not the worst thing I've ever eaten. Ice cream flavored chalk. Maybe I like it. Or maybe it's gross. Do you want some astronaut ice cream?